this short video, I would like to show you how easy it is to document, describe a process using Synergiser Process Control. So, just a few words about the application. As you can see, we have 4 languages here. You can choose the language by simply clicking this letter, but we will work in English. So 4 languages are available: English, French, German, and Italian. Now, here I have a series of processes which have already been recorded or described, and I will describe a new process. To do that, I will simply create a new record, and I will use a process ID, which will be like 6010, and I will give a title to my process. In this case, I will say by cell securities for non-discretionary clients. As you can see here, by clicking this symbol, I can open a window where I have predefined categories of processes. In that case, my process will be in the category brokerage, and a chain will be automatically linked to the process, or better said, the process will be linked to a predefined chain, which allows my process to enter into a specific category. This means that there is another module where I can create this kind of chain. Now, I have created the title. All I have to do is to input the flowchart. To make things a little bit easier, or to show you a little bit quicker how it works, in this case I can duplicate an existing process. I know that the process I can use is process number 6000, and as you see, a list of activities have been copied into this new process description screen. Now, I will show you, I will just delete, so that you can see how to delete an activity. I will delete this last activity, and I will show you how easy it is. So the last activity was to control good execution of transaction, and I will give a number to this activity. I will simply set a box. In this case, I will identify this activity as a control activity. So by clicking 4 eyes principle, this means that somebody else will check the good execution of the transaction. And as you can see, I can also choose the IT system used to perform this activity. All you need to do here is just to describe activities. Every column is dedicated to a specific organizational unit, and as you see here, I still have to define in which unit the activities are being accomplished. So to do that, I will simply click this button, change organizational unit, and I will identify where this is being done. This means that I already recorded a series of organizational units in a specific module of the system. In that case, let me take client management, and then it will go to a brokerage entity, and then it will go to, say, a back office somewhere. Let me find somewhere at back office. Where is it? I don't find it. I don't have here. Back office exchange. And then I confirm the organizational units. With this simple operation, I did link all of those activities in each column to a specific organizational unit. Now, let's imagine that I have to add an activity somewhere. For instance, between 5 and 6. I will simply click somewhere on line 6 and add a line, and here I will be able to add any new activity. So just write activity or new activity, just to show you how easy it is. Now, this can be defined as an activity. As you can see, the numbering of the activities has been changed automatically. The interesting thing is that I can also, let's imagine that I have to add an organizational unit between BRCL and BOSE. So all I have to do is to displace all of these columns to the right by clicking the column and clicking this symbol. So here now I have a new column which has been created. All I have to do is to change the organizational unit. These will be now BOSE, Back Office Stock Exchange. This will be any other organizational unit. I will confirm this. I will have to add a line here, obviously, for instance, and here will be new activity, well, new activity CMG2. I don't need that symbol anymore, so empty. This will be a new activity, and then we'll put new connectors here. So let's imagine that there could be different possibilities after activity number 5. Here I could have a situation like this. So let me show you. It could be like this or like this. So I could put here a condition like, for instance, yes. So position yes a little better, and here no. In that case, I put a space before yes and before no so that the system does recognize this text as simple text and not as an activity. In that case, I would have defined two possible activities after activity number 5. This can be done everywhere. Here I miss a connector, but that's really all I have to do. You can see how simple it is to describe a process using Synergiser Process Control. We decided not to use symbols because this is not a system intended, for high-level IT specialists which really need to describe details using the well-known IBM symbols. This is done for people working in the firm. It's done for auditors. It's done for people who need to understand how a process works. Now, by simply clicking Print Flowchart, I already have my flowchart. Let's try to make it a little bit bigger. My flowchart is already described using a predefined standard. As you can see here, I have all of my organizational units, my title, the IT system used, and the type of activity. So if it's a self-control activity, I can see it here, and if it is a 4 eyes principle, so a control executed by another person or by another organizational unit, it is indicated as a 4 eyes principle, and I can see it because the color of the activity is red. Here on the bottom you can see the title of your process as well as the logical chain, so that if you decide to print out this document as a PDF, or you decide to print it out on paper, you can put it in a folder, and it will be extremely easy to see the title of the process and the chain, the logical chain. That's it. So now we can go much further by defining who will be allowed to perform the different activities of the process within every organizational unit implied in the process itself. So when I only have one function, it means, of course, that I did record in the static data in the system, in another module, I did record the functions for every organizational unit. In that case, I simply click transfer function, and I can see my function. Now, this means that head of CMGB is an authorized function. So the person occupying this function are allowed to perform this activity, which is activity 1 of process 6010 buy, sell securities for non-discretionary clients. So activity 2 is the same, so simply transfer this. Here I have two different functions. Let's say that activity number 3 can only be performed by the head of BRCL. In that case, I can select head of BRCL, okay, continue, and this will allow the head of this organizational unit to perform this activity. Now here, let's imagine that all of the functions of BRCL are allowed to perform activity number 4. So I click transfer function. Here, the same, and I go on like that until the end of my process. Okay? Do it like that so that it can be done a little quicker. I don't check really if these are the right functions. It's just to show you how the thing works. Now, if I go back to my process, you know, in my flowchart, and I print it out, you can see that not only I can see here which organizational unit performs every activity, but I can also see which functions are allowed or authorized to perform each activity. Here you can see it. This means that I will also be able to see all the activities that can be performed by each function as defined here. So now I could also go to another module, which is a function module, and here, by clicking here, I could see in a predefined printout, I can see all of my functions. I can see in which processes these functions are active. And of course, this is a demo database. I have processes in all languages. I have to find out the process that we did define here. Here it is. For instance, head of CMGB is implied in process 6010, which was buy sell securities for non-discretionary clients. Okay? And this can be done for all functions. Okay, now there's another interesting thing. We also have a browser interface. Here I'm in Italian. Okay, let's put it in English. Right. In my process list, no, it doesn't. Here, as you can see now, I did publish immediately. On real time, my process 6010 has been published also on the browser interface. I can see my process as a list, but I can also see it as a flowchart, right? This is exactly the same process that we did describe using the FileMaker database. And this is quite interesting because the interface that we use on the browser is a simplified, as you can see, it's a simplified interface, right? Which allows users to access processes in a very simple way. There are many other things which can be done. Also, this interface is obviously in several languages, in the 4 languages, French, German, Italian, or English. And we will prepare another video just to show you how nice this browser interface is. As you can see, this is not an HTML publication. This is a real-time publication. So also by using the browser interface, users are constantly using the most recent data. And that's it. There are other interesting things which can be done. If I go back to the database, here you see that for every process I can define a lot of things. For instance, I can choose who the process owner is. Okay, and once I choose the process owner, I can also define for how many days the process will be considered, as valid. So Mr. Thomas Weber, who is in charge of this process, as you can see, he has now to, in a way, to, we will say that this will be valid for 365 days, okay? But Mr. Thomas Weber, through his web interface, let me find Thomas Weber, all right, it's already here because I am Mr. Thomas Weber. As you can see, he is the process owner of process 6010, and he can confirm the validity by simply clicking here and click then modify validity. You can say, yes, this is valid, submit, return, and as you can see now, the process has become green. It still has 3 processes to confirm. These are all processes, as I said. This is a demo database, so there's a lot of things which have not been updated for a long time. But quite interestingly, now I can go back to my database, so to the database interface, and as you can see, the process is now considered as valid for the next 365 days, so until the 22nd of February of 2019. Anytime Mr. Weber could say, no, stop, the process is not valid anymore because there were changes in the IT environment or for any other reason, and by using the same interface on the browser, he could say, stop, the process is not valid anymore. There are many other things which can be done on a process level. For instance, we could indicate a volume, a yearly volume. So the process is performed, say, 10,000 times a year. This can be used to perform activity-based costing calculation, or to define the efficiency level of the organizational units implied in performing this process. Okay, I hope that this short video will be of any interest for people interested in Synergiser Process and Control. Should you have questions, remarks, or would you like to discuss with us the functionality of our system, just contact us at info@synergis.ch, or you can find us under Synergiser with S. You can find us on Facebook, and you can contact us also through Facebook. Thank you for watching. Bye.